Hello, I'm Timothy, and welcome to Novel Summary. Today we are reading through Crime and Punishment, written by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and first published in 1866. Set in the sweltering slums of St. Petersburg, this is the story of Rodion Romanovich Raskolnikov, a brilliant but impoverished ex-student who believes he is destined for greatness. He also believes that some people, extraordinary people, have the right to commit crimes if it benefits humanity. And so begins his dark experiment. At the novel's outset, Raskolnikov is on the edge. He's hungry, dirty, and racked by fever and mental anguish. He's withdrawn from society, pawning belongings just to survive. He's obsessed with an idea that some people, like Napoleon, can break the law without moral consequence if their actions lead to a greater good. Raskolnikov decides to test this theory by murdering a pawnbroker, Alyona Ivanovna, a greedy old woman he considers a parasite. He plans meticulously. He will kill her, take her money, and use it to do good deeds, lifting himself out of poverty and helping others. But when the day comes, everything falls apart. He manages to kill Alyona with an axe, but is surprised when her innocent sister Lizaveta walks in. He kills her too, something not part of the plan. The murders shake him to his core. He doesn't take most of the money. He hides what little he took beneath a rock and sinks into delirium. What follows is not the story of a criminal evading justice, but of a soul unravelling. Raskolnikov becomes paranoid and erratic. He wanders the city, avoiding people, then desperately seeking them out. He falls ill and hallucinates. He's constantly afraid of being discovered. But more than that, he's tormented by guilt. He wants to confess, but he also wants to prove to himself that he was right. Enter the detective Porfiry Petrovich. Porfiry is clever, ironic, and methodical. He suspects Raskolnikov almost immediately but chooses not to arrest him. Instead, he plays a psychological game, drawing Raskolnikov into conversations about crime and punishment, watching him squirm. Porfiry represents the voice of a society that demands accountability, but also understands the inner complexity of human suffering. Other characters add to the tension. There's Razumikin, Raskolnikov's loyal and optimistic friend who tries to save him from himself. Razumikin is a foil to Raskolnikov, kind, grounded, hopeful. There's Marmeladov, a tragic drunkard who believes suffering is sacred. Marmeladov's death introduces Raskolnikov to his daughter, Sonia. Sonia becomes a central figure. She is a young woman forced into prostitution to support her family, yet she is deeply spiritual and compassionate. She represents faith, sacrifice, and redemptive love. Raskolnikov is drawn to her, even as he's ashamed of what he's done. He tells her everything, and she doesn't recoil. She urges him to confess and accept his punishment. Their relationship is full of tension and strange tenderness. Sonia reads him the story of Lazarus from the Bible, hoping he will experience resurrection. Raskolnikov, despite everything, is moved, but he continues to believe in his own extraordinary status, resisting the moral pull Sonia offers. Raskolnikov's family also arrives in St. Petersburg. Petersburg, his mother, Pulcheria, and his sister, Dunya. Dunya is strong-willed and noble, engaged to a cold-hearted bureaucrat named Luzhin, who hopes to control her through marriage. Raskolnikov despises him and humiliates him during a family dinner. A darker threat emerges in the form of Svidrigailov, Dunya's former employer. Svidrigailov is a predator, a libertine, and possibly a murderer. He becomes obsessed with Dunya and offers her money and freedom, but at a price. His presence adds an eerie, almost ghost-like quality to the novel's later chapters. Svidrigailov eavesdrops on Raskolnikov and Sonya's conversation, learning the truth. He holds this knowledge over Raskolnikov's head, but ultimately finds no joy in it. In the end, he is haunted by visions of dead girls, one of whom he may have abused. His descent culminates in suicide, a chilling echo of Raskolnikov's own psychological torment. As Raskolnikov spirals, the walls begin to close in. Porfiry confronts him privately, gently pressing him toward confession. Porfiry doesn't see Raskolnikov as a monster, but as a misguided soul. He offers him a chance at redemption. Porfiry's vision of justice is not merely punishment, but moral restoration. Raskolnikov is trapped between ideologies. On one side is his theory of extraordinary men, on the other is Sonya's gospel of suffering and humility. His internal battle is the true heart of the novel. He oscillates between arrogance and remorse, pride and despair. The final turning point comes when Sonya gives Raskolnikov a cross and tells him to stand in the middle of the square and bow to the people, confessing his sin. In a deeply emotional scene, Raskolnikov does it, sort of. He breaks down, kisses the ground, and weeps. But the confession isn't immediate. Eventually, he turns himself in. He's sentenced to 8 years of penal labor in Siberia. Sonya follows him, faithfully visiting him in prison. At first, Raskolnikov remains distant, still clinging to his idea of being an extraordinary man. He feels he has been punished not for his crime, but for his failure to live up to his own ideal. But slowly, through Sonya's love and the suffering he endures, something shifts. In Siberia, he lives among hardened criminals and witnesses their simple, brutal honesty. They hate him for his aloofness, for his moral superiority. He starts to feel the weight of being human again. In the novel's epilogue, we witness the beginning of Raskolnikov's transformation. He dreams of a plague of ideas, people infected by ideological pride, destroying each other over who is right. In this vision, Dostoevsky explores the danger of placing ideas above humanity. Raskolnikov's epiphany comes not in a burst of insight, but slowly, through the steady presence of Sonya. One day he breaks down and weeps at her feet, truly humbled. This act is not dramatic, but it is sincere. For the first time he feels connected, not superior, to another person. His intellectual arrogance is shattered. In its place grows a nascent sense of love, humility, and the possibility of redemption. Dostoevsky doesn't offer us a triumphant ending. Raskolnikov's journey is just beginning, but it is a journey inward, toward the soul. Ultimately, Crime and Punishment is a novel about redemption. Raskolnikov believed he could live outside the bounds of morality, that he could act like a god. But he learns, through guilt, punishment, and love, that no one can escape the consequences of their actions. True greatness, Dostoevsky suggests, lies not in defying morality, but in embracing humility, love, and the shared suffering of being human. Crime and Punishment remains one of the most psychologically rich novels ever written. It invites us to peer into the darkest recesses of the human mind while asking profound moral questions. What does it mean to be good? Can one evil deed be justified by a greater good? Is suffering the path to redemption? Through Raskolnikov's torment, Dostoevsky compels us to confront these questions, not with easy answers, but with compassion. The story endures because it understands something essential about the human condition, that we are flawed, but capable of change. Thank you for listening.